Now I get to go home and tell my dad that I have been suspended for an inappropriate relationship with an inmate.
Welcome to More Than an Inmate's Girlfriend. I'm your host, Jay, and this episode is a goodie. This is with Butterfly. She's so cool. So there is such a stigma on prison wives. We know this, right? I am one. It's okay. I can take it. There is even bigger stigma on those that meet their loved ones while they're working at the prison. Now imagine not only that, this person was not a guard. This person worked in mental health at the prison. This person was a therapist at the prison working with incarcerated individuals. And that's where she met the love of her life. That is what today's story is. Can you believe it? It's going to be a good one. Obviously, we have kept her name, state, everything anonymous. It was important for me at the beginning of the interview to really learn about her as a person and her experiences so that we understand that judgment doesn't do anything. Who are we to judge someone's relationship? Who are we to judge what is okay and what is not okay? And who are we to judge that? And I certainly can't in most circumstances. And I'm learning more and more and more about judgment and how unhelpful it is when really we need to open the door to conversation and learn what happened and why. And this is why we had Butterfly on. Please follow us and like and share this podcast and press the plus button to follow the show. We appreciate and love the love that we receive. And we are trying to spread the word about those impacted by incarceration, whether it be their loved ones or the people themselves or advocates. So please help us spread that message. You can follow us on socials at podcast_prisongf on Instagram and at More Than an Inmate's GF on TikTok. If you are interested in getting a gift catalog or looking it up, you can find it at www.morethaninmatesgirlfriend.com. Click buy it and then enter the code JANDAJ, JAEANDAJ to take the price away and have it be free. And then you just need to enter your loved one's shipping information and they will get a catalog shipped to them where they can purchase gifts for their loved ones. With that, I will let you get into the episode with Butterfly. Let's learn about how someone falls in love with someone while working as a therapist in a prison. Welcome, Butterfly.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I've been looking forward to it.
Oh, me too. I am so excited. You have a lot to share with us today. So let's get right into it. So for the first thing, before we even get into how you're connected to the incarcerated population, what has been your professional background?
I spent time in the military, and in the military, I was law enforcement.
Wow.
And while doing law enforcement, I discovered that I had a knack for being more of the helper, the investigator, and they geared me towards doing just that. So I worked with child abuse, domestic violence, sexual assault, sexual harassment. I did a lot of training and fell in love with actually learning about why things happen in the brain. And when I retired, I finished my undergrad in psychology.
Yeah.
And found a passion for working with troubled adolescents, juveniles that had been subjected to trauma, whether it was physical, emotional, neglect, whatever, some sort of trauma. And these kids were in residential treatment facilities. Mm-hmm. So if their entire normal has been a chaotic environment, has been robbing Peter to pay Paul, putting things on the line or giving up things of value in order to pay the electricity bill, or even doing nefarious activities in order to take care of the family because they felt obligated. These kids had been through the ringer, and I wanted to learn how to break those cycles.
Yeah.
I graduated with my master's and started pursuing my career as a clinician, and I started in that background with those kids, and I discovered that the parents were either incarcerated or had been incarcerated, or somebody else in the family had been incarcerated. And then when you dive even deeper, it's, oh yeah, no, my brother was in this facility for 2 years until he aged out, and now he's in prison.
Yeah.
So I wanted to fix that problem. Even if I could only help one kiddo, how do we fix this? How do we learn about that? So I started my PhD in developmental psychology, and I discovered the importance of having stability. It doesn't have to be mom, dad, grandma, but stability. I found my passion for this started in the military when I learned that I really enjoyed helping people.
I love it because your experiences and everything that you've been through would put you in the perfect place when you go to work for a correctional institute, because you get it. Like, you don't have the judgment, you saw it. And it's funny that you say the stability, because my mom, when my parents split up, my mom went to a therapist, and the therapist was like, whatever you do, if you need to move out of your house, if you need to buy an apartment, if you need to get into a smaller space that you can afford, you need to find a place and you need to move the kids once and only move them once. And then that's their home and that's their safety and that's their stability, and everything else is going to be chaotic in their world. But if they know that they're safe in their house and it's theirs, they'll be okay. And it's crazy because it worked. And all of us are successful adults who are contributing members of society, where my mom was really worried about that because we had gone through so much other trauma, and she followed the therapist's advice. So it's funny when you said that, because it really did make a difference.
I was a military kid as well. My parents were in the military. We moved all the time. And the difference between that uprooting was when we would get to the new place, it was always a new adventure going wherever we were going. But whenever we would get there and my dad would leave, my mom was still there. My sister was still there. My brother was still there, right? There was a consistency there with that. And mom tried to keep things stable. But that's what I recognized with some of these kids, is they had been uprooted and they had been moved around.
How did you deal with that? That's a lot to take in. How did you not take it all home and not bring them all to your house?
Oh my gosh. Yes. And that was always a thing when I was working with the kids. There was always one kiddo, and we get kids from all over the country sometimes because there's residentials in some states, but there's not in others. So they get shifted around. And there's always one kid that you bond with. There's always that one that just pulls your heartstrings and you want to take them home, and just because I want to love this poor baby.
Yeah, exactly.
Those are the kids that will reach out to you a couple years later just to let you know, hey, I made it through high school, I graduated, and I'm on my way to college. And you're like, oh my God, you got it together. I'm so happy for you.
Yeah. And obviously you made an impact that they wanted you to know.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes. The human brain craves connection. It craves it. It will take over when we are trying to understand why this ended or this didn't go the way we planned. And we replay those scenarios in our head until either A, we decide that we're done with it and we give it closure for ourselves, or we actually seek the answer. The problem is sometimes we have to accept that we're not always going to get the forgiveness or the apology or the atonement. And that was something that I really had to work hard, not only with the guys inside the prison, but with the kids, because so many people that I interact with are harboring resentment, hate, anger towards the system, maybe the person that ratted them out, or the police officer that cuffed them a little bit too tightly, or whatever it is. And they dwell on those moments where I should have done this or I could have done that. If I'd have done this, it wouldn't have been like that. And that's a situation that our brains do when we don't have closure. It took me a long time to understand and be able to impart it in my own life, which made it even more effective when I was sharing it with not only my juveniles, but the guys inside the prison. Sometimes you have got to accept that this happened. It changed my life. And I don't need to hold space for it anymore. And it's a beautiful thing to watch when people start to release the stuff that is no longer their responsibility to carry. Because they start to glow.
I can't even imagine how that feeling must be to be able to watch it and help someone get through that. And the weight that you have to carry to get there, right? To have to go through it with them. And all that to say, I really admire your experience and all of your different types of experiences that led you to this path to go work in a prison setting. So
Yes.
what were you doing in the prison?
I was a clinician, so my job was to do therapy. So when I entered the prison and I had the walkthrough and I'm looking at this place and it looks like a residential for adults or a college campus with the addition of some fencing and some gates. And I'm like, okay, this isn't as horrible as it could be. I mean, there's somebody always watching you. There's people up in the towers. There's the guys at their window. There's the COs on the walk, right? There's always somebody. And you don't go anywhere on that campus without a radio. We had a sign-out board. So I was a licensed therapist inside the prison, and that was my job. I was to conduct therapy sessions with the inmates.
Wow. Were you worried?
Yep. No. Oddly enough, which is so weird. And people who have never worked inside that environment would not know. But those of us that have ever been in, have ever gone to visit, have ever, I don't know, known people inside, I would swear on my grandchildren, and that's a lot. Not a lot of grandkids, but that's a big swear. That if I had been in one of those housing units and something popped off, one of those guys would have pushed me inside a cell and locked me in there by myself to keep me safe.
Yeah.
I would have trusted the men inside there to make sure that I was taken care of well before I trusted some of those COs.
Wow. That says a lot.
Absolutely. It came down to a respect.
Yeah. Was it hard to gain their respect?
For me, I don't think so, because I'm the same person right here on this phone call as I was inside there, as I am when I'm doing any individual therapy sessions, or I'm outside doing it hands-on with a client at my facility. Or because, to be honest, having to put up a mask is exhausting.
Yeah.
They knew how much was too much, and they knew where my line was, and I did the same for them, right?
Yeah.
They built trust with me as I sat with them in their bullshit is what it was. They were feeling whatever they're feeling, and I sat in it with them. I didn't pity them. I didn't treat them as if they were anything other than a human person going through the emotional struggles of being away from their family.
Yeah. I think...
Because that's what they are.
Yeah. And I feel like even for me, speaking to you, you can sense authenticity. You can sense when someone's being genuine and is really just there to help you, or really just being the person who they are. And that helps connect, right? So it makes sense that you would connect really well with them.
I stood on what I said too. If I told somebody I was going to come back, I came back. And if something held me up that I wasn't able, maybe they were in SEG or something like that, and I couldn't get back for whatever reason, I would go back as soon as I was able, and I would explain the situation. I never just ghosted anybody, and I always stood on what I said.
Yeah. Were there parts that were really frustrating working there? Because...
Yes.
Yeah.
Judge, there are some people who work inside the facility that are there just for that boost in their ego. Or maybe they initially started because they needed a job, and maybe they'd been there for way too long. Or, you know, oh, I'm new. I don't follow your protocol. I follow the protocol. I ask questions. I rock the boat. I'm curious. I want to know, why is it okay for this to happen and not? Right. Yeah. So I got a lot of pushback. I got a lot of questions as to what exactly I was doing when I'm clearly doing my job. But I had to also humble myself and remind myself that some of these people that are holding these positions inside the facility, they don't even have a high school diploma.
Yeah.
So for me to interact and act like I was bigger, better than them, that was just going to build a wedge. So I tried to be compliant. I tried to be friendly. I tried to not hold anything against anybody. And still, it was judgment all day long. If I looked at somebody for too long, I was flirting. If I dropped something off at one of the housing units for somebody, then I was bringing drugs in. If I spent too much time in my office, which had a wide open door and a CO sitting outside of it and 3 cameras pointing towards my door, and in that environment, too much time is anything over 16 minutes, which is illegal, but that's besides the point, then I must have been doing nefarious things. I must have been plotting and planning.
Right.
So being hindered in doing my job when I know that I'm doing a good job, because my guys are coming back. They're going to school on a regular basis. They're taking their Suboxone, and they're taking their medication assisted treatment program is working well, and they're gainfully employed, and they're not getting violations, and we're seeing progress. And I start getting pushback. One of the other clinicians had to cover my sessions for like 2 days or something like that. And I came back and we went to lunch, and I was like, hey, how did everything go or whatever? And we're talking. He goes, what have you done to these guys? And I said, what are you talking about? He said, every single one of your clients showed up for their sessions while you were gone. I couldn't tell you, but that caused drama. That caused issues. Caused panic. That caused the waves to rumble, because what is she doing? They're not using drugs. They're not fighting. They're not getting violations. They're polite.
Crazy. I would be so frustrated as someone going through that. You mentioned a loved one. How did you meet him?
When I started there, I was given 4 pages of the tiniest font on freaking Excel that you can possibly get. I think it's like a 6.5 or something. I don't know. It was so tiny. But it was like 4 pages of that font with like 250 inmates.
Wow.
And it had their DOCID number, their name, their housing unit, and who their therapist was, their case manager, and how many days it had been in between the last time they had been seen. And I'm looking at this page. There's a guy on there that's like 265 days since he last saw a clinician.
Wow.
265 days, and he takes medications, and he is supposed to have therapy at least every 90 days. Well, all of these individuals belong to my supervisor prior to me getting there. She had not been seeing her client.
Whoa.
Yep. Had not been seeing her client. So secretary hands me this 4-page list of this tiny font, all these dudes' names on it. And I'm like, oh my God, okay. And they tell me that I have to start with the ones that hadn't been seen the longest amount of time and move my way up. Well, my loved one just happened to be on that list.
Oh.
It wasn't instantaneous. We weren't like, oh my God, I love you. I'm going to marry you someday. Definitely not Mickey Mouse like that. Because that was not why I was working.
Obviously.
I didn't even apply for that job. They searched me out.
Well, you're a perfect candidate.
Yeah.
You really are.
Yeah.
So do you remember meeting him?
My supervisor took me over to his housing unit. I was shadowing her this week. So I've got this stack, and she's like, okay, this is where these are at. And we go over to the housing unit, and this is where they house the suicide watch and the disciplinary seg guys.
Okay.
And I meet the guys in the bubble. Oh, everybody's like, oh, great, another girl. COs flirt. I banter back like, yeah, whatever. I'm not here for that. I am not the one. And they'll learn. Eventually they learn.
Yeah.
So we go inside and we do all the suicide watch, right? So we go up one side and down the other, and we knock on the doors and we talk to the guys and we check on them. And then we do the rest of that house because we have to do segregation rounds. So easiest way to knock that house out is do it at the same time.
Yeah.
So we go up one side, we go up the other, and then we go back over to where suicide watch is, and we go upstairs with that. And somebody made a cat call. I thought it was hilarious.
Okay.
I thought it was hilarious because that shit's funny to me. But whatever they said, I laughed. I died. I was like, oh, that was a good one, buddy. I can't wait to hear your next one. Maybe I'll see you next week, right?
Uh-huh.
But we get down. We're going door to door, and we're talking to the guys. We're checking how many's in here, blah, blah, blah. Do you need anything? Yes, puzzles. Okay, cool. We get down to the end, and my supervisor looks up at the window because she's very short in stature, and he is very tall in stature.
Okay.
And he's standing there with a tablet in one hand, his sheet tied around himself like a toga, and some damn gray sweatpants.
Oh, my God.
And I'm already laughing, but the tattoo's all over his chest and the tops of his collarbones, right? And he's standing there, and he's looking at the tablet, and dude back here says something else again, and I start to laugh, and as soon as I laugh, his eyes lock. Bam. Mm-hmm. And I looked, and I started to laugh even more, and this motherfucker started to blush.
Aww. That's cute.
I was like, okie dokie. So I introduced myself. I'm still laughing. I'm not even thinking anything of it at this point. And we leave. I'm still laughing because dude back here, now I have to turn around and walk back past him. and he's still running his mouth, and I'm still laughing at him, and that's making it worse.
Oh my God.
But I feel it on the back of my neck, and I turn and I look, and dude's got his face stuck to the window.
But I'm sure you have tons of stories kind of like this.
Oh my gosh. Let me tell you what. I have definitely seen my fair share of human anatomy in my experience there. And some people would be staring and yelling, like, you need to go put that away, blah, blah, blah. I would turn so that I wasn't looking. Yo, dude, I apologize. I need to talk to you about this. Can you do me a favor and put some pants on? And then you would get the ones that would do it on purpose, right? And you could always tell when they were doing something creepy. I'm sorry. It's rude and disrespectful. And I used to tell them, like, dude, I'm not here for that. I need you to put your hands up on the window. That's rude. It's disrespectful.
Yeah.
I understand that you may feel some sort of way or test the waters, but I'm not here for that. And if we can't keep it professional, I won't come back.
Mm-hmm.
And I set that boundary, and I never had a problem.
That makes sense. Because the last thing they would want is that you wouldn't come back. It's pretty basic. Yeah.
9 out of 10 of them were always respectful.
Mm-hmm.
As long as I was respectful, they were respectful. I don't think I ever had beef with anybody behind the glass unless I told them no and they thought they were going to get something out of it.
Right. Fair. And then obviously your relationship, you started seeing him.
Yeah, I didn't realize that he was on my caseload because I had so many. And so the next time I have to go see him, I went to go do suicide watch by myself, so it's my week to do it alone. So Monday morning, here I go, be bopping on down the aisle. And by this time, I've got familiarity with these guys. I'm working 5 to 6 days a week, and I'm there from like 8 in the morning until almost 5, 6 o'clock at night.
Wow.
I've got familiarity with them at this point. So I'll be bopping on down the walk, and there's guys that are in suicide watch consistently. And I got the first guy that always runs his damn mouth. He's respectful, but he's leery and creepy. I banter with him because I'm learning about him, but I try not to linger, right? Because he still gives me the heebie-jeebies. Like, I wouldn't trust him if he was on the other side of that door, put it that way.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
A question.
But I can be cordial. I can be polite, right?
Yeah. Anyways.
So I'm bebopping down the aisle, and I'm checking on my guys, and I got guys that I bring packets to every week or every other day or whatever it is, and I've got guys that are on my actual caseload that are now in suicide watch. So I'm going down and doing my thing, and I get to like the third or fourth door, and I look at my paper, and I look up at the window, and there's dude standing there with a shit-eating grin on his face, and I said, what the fuck are you doing in here? Why are you in here? Because he was out. Last I knew. I thought he was out on the yard.
Oh, okay.
And he starts laughing. And he said, yeah, I kind of fucked up. And I said, what did you do? And he said, well, the dude upstairs kept flooding his fucking toilet, and it was flooding into my room. And then they put us on the goddamn bench, handcuffed, and it's 2 o'clock in the morning, and they won't hurry up, and I can't go to bed, and they ain't got a room for me, so I thought I was going to kill myself, so they stuck me in here. I said, yeah, that's kind of dumb. He goes, well, no, even more dumb as I did on Friday.
Why?
So he's been stuck in the hole since Friday in suicide watch, where they have no clothing, no tablet, no pens, no pencils, no books, no nada. You don't even have clothes. They have a safety schmuck that they put on them with absolutely no underwear, no socks, no nada. It's fucking cold in those cells. It's horrible. And I said, yeah, that was pretty fucking stupid, dude.
Oh, my God.
I said, so do you want to kill yourself? And he said, no, I'm not suicidal. I was like, okay, then I'll go ahead and tell them that they can let you out. And as I'm trying to walk away, he's trying to talk to me. And I'm trying to walk away, but I really want to stay and talk to him. And I'm like, no, we're not here for that. I got to work. I got to go. I got to go.
What was it about him that you found was different? Was it just a weird connection that you had?
It was that, yes, and that's exactly it. It was like sincerity. Okay. And I mean that because I'm not a stupid woman. I absolutely have access to look at everything that you did to get yourself in here. And from the moment I met him, he told me straight out, this is this and that's that. And not a single thing he ever told me was a lie.
Okay.
About anything. It felt like my soul shook hands with its other half.
Wow.
It was instantaneous oh my God, there you are. I've been looking for you. Yeah, we've been waiting for you. And that was it. There's no specific date. We just collided.
Right.
We collided. And from that moment on, even though I wasn't on board yet, I was like, we're not doing this. I'm not doing this. You can talk to him. He's intelligent. You have good conversations, and he's making progress. This is good. He'll go away eventually, and it'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
And the more time I spent with him, the more I wanted to know. And the more he told me, the more I told him. And it was almost like we had been doing this our whole lives. It was emotional safety. It was peace. It was an instant trust, which is crazy because this man robs banks for a living.
It's so crazy. You just have to laugh. It's just funny. And I get it, you know? I get it.
The logical part of my head is like, no, dude, he's got this much time. I'm thinking, oh, he's going to be in here for the rest of his life. And then I see he's only going to be in there for like a year, maybe 2 more. I'm like, oh, God, the potential that he's going to be out. And I live here. Yeah. He lives down the road. Like, oh, shit. What does that even look like? And then that started to be an entertainment. And the more he talked and the more he grew, the more I just was able to be soft, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm the boss. I handle everything. I'm the one that checks on people. I'm the people that people have. Right. I'm not the person that has people.
Yeah. You're the masculine energy.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because I had to be.
Yeah.
I've had to be my entire life, my entire military career. Yeah. Even after I retired, I had to be. So to step into an environment where my nervous system actually exhaled was addicting.
Yeah. Were you scared, or did you realize that professional boundaries were going to get crossed or could get crossed? Or how did you feel about that?
Scared me to death, and that's why I held off as long as I held off.
Yeah. I
really did the best I could until I removed him from my caseload. And then I was like, oh, well, now we don't have an ethical boundary.
You're funny.
Oh, maybe. No. Yeah, it was wild because I was trying to avoid it. Like, well, I don't have to see him once a month. And he would make it known that he had to come get his toenails cut at lunch on Wednesdays, or that he had class at this time, which just happened to be the same time I was going to lunch, you know, things like that. Right. And I was trying to avoid it, and he was definitely showing up.
Yeah.
And we still had sessions and we had conversations, but I knew, and it was unavoidable.
And were you worried about other people finding out?
I really was not, because I made sure that anywhere that I was with him, I was on camera.
Right.
I was on camera. I did not want anybody to come back and say we were doing something. And he was always very gentlemanly about that.
Okay.
If I gave a boundary, he respected it. He didn't like it, but he respected it.
Mm-hmm. And just to be clear, it's not like you've ever done this before.
Nope.
New experience.
Never, ever. Oh, yeah.
Oh, you must have been
Every
freaking.
day I yelled at myself on my drive home.
Oh, I would have been freaking out. Like, so upset at
Every
life.
Day.
Like, why did you have to put this person here?
Yes. Every day when I went into work, I got anxiety. What do these people think?
Yeah.
Right. And I always wondered if they were looking at me because they knew. Did somebody hear something? Because I'm not going to lie. My dude, when he's super happy, I have a big mouth sometimes. Here I am trying to maintain my professional boundaries, and I get a paper butterfly thrown through the freaking walkway as the door is closing, and I look, he's not there, but this paper butterfly just flew across. I'm like, oh, okay, I see you. Thank you.
Was there a point where you were official in a relationship, or was it just known the whole time?
It was kind of known the whole time, but I will tell you when everybody else knew. When I realized everybody else knew was when I started identifying that people that normally just approached me would look around first and then approach me, or if I was walking with him and one of the guys needed to talk to me, they would ask, hey, can I talk to her for a real quick second?
Whoa.
And if he said no, they walked off, and I was like, okay, hello, hi, what is that?
That makes sense.
What is that? Because nobody's ever walked for me like that.
So
Ever.
do you think the incarcerated population knew before?
Oh, God, yes.
Oh, gosh. Oh, my God. I would never, I couldn't do what you did. I'd be gone.
Oh, but I didn't act any different with anybody. And that was something that bothered him, though. That was something, and he will tell people today, even today, I love that she's passionate about what she does.
Mm-hmm.
I do not love that her character, not her personality, but her character is as light and bright and open and airy and friendly as it is, because people are attracted to her energy.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't want people attracted to her.
Yeah. No, I get it.
This is not normal behavior criteria for me. This is not something that I did on a regular basis. I definitely didn't go flirting with my clients. And that's what it became, right? Like, why am I being such a girl? And my partner asked me the same question, like, why are you so interested in that guy? What is it about that guy? I don't know.
How did you guys communicate?
He would just show up, or he would send a note with somebody to my office, like,
Smart.
hey, so-and-so has an appointment at 1:00 or whatever. And he'd give a note to him and, hey, go drop this off. So, yeah, we communicated. At first, it was by letter, by notes, things of that nature. He would return his homework to me with notes written on the back of it. And eventually he got a hold of my phone number.
Somehow.
Yeah, I have social media platforms. I'd been practicing for so long that my name, my phone number, it was on the internet. You Google my name and I pop up.
Googleable, yeah.
So I get a phone call. I'm in Walmart one day and I'm buying groceries with my daughter and her son. And we're talking and chit-chatting. My phone rings and my grandbaby picks it up. Mama! And I'm like, who's calling me? And I look at it and it's the prison. Well, I'm on call. So, okay, cool, not a problem. So I answer it, but I didn't get, hey, this is Sergeant so-and-so. I got, this is a prepaid collect call from. And I was like, okay, yes. And then I'm like, uh-huh. And it says, do you want to accept these? I'm like, well, I'm not going to decline it. God knows what that might do to his ego, right? I don't want to deal with that fallout on Monday.
Yeah.
Because he's a man and, you know, they do that.
Mm-hmm.
This poor baby is so sensitive. My poor sweet baby. So I answer it. And he says, butterfly. And I said, this is not a low-flying jet, sir.
I love it.
And he said, I just wanted to see if you'd answer.
Oh.
And he hung up. And I'm like, okay, that's the end of that. That was very short. That was quick. All right, good. We don't have to worry about this. This is not going to happen again. It's good. We're okay. It's all right. Oh, my God, he called me. Oh, my God, he called me. Oh, my God, he called me. It's okay. It's not going to happen again. We're good. We're good. It's cool. It's not going to be a problem. You can go to work. It'll be okay. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. They know, oh, my God, if somebody finds out. And I had the whole spiral, right? I'm like, oh, my God.
They're going to know. They're not going to know. They're going to know.
And then please call me again, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. And so it began. He told me, you need to get a different phone. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, how am I going to explain that I have a different phone to people? Like,
yeah,
I don't care. I'll go get a burner phone. I'll just go get a business phone. So now I have my phone and I have a burner phone.
Yeah.
And he calls me all the time. It was in the morning to make sure that I had got my coffee or my energy drink, that I made it to work safe.
Wow.
I know nothing of this world other than what I'm learning on the fly right now.
Did you ever think I got to take a step back? Did you ever try?
Yes. It lasted 48 hours.
Oh, wow.
And it only lasted 48 hours because it was a weekend and I just chose not to answer the phone that weekend. And that was a bad Monday.
Oh.
Not only was somebody's poor feelers hurt, but I felt horrible and I felt lost and I felt empty and I felt like I was missing something. Like I had grown accustomed to I could tell you when the phone's cut off. I could tell you when the phone's cut on because he was on the phone with me.
Yeah.
And it was funny because some medical staff, they were older and very jaded, but had made a report or something like that he was flirting or harassing the female nurses at night during med pass. And I'm over hearing the conversations like, when is med pass anyway? And just being nosy. And they tell me, and I was like, okay, cool, thank you. I just needed to know. And I walked off, and I'm laughing internally because the time that they're saying that he is so-called harassing people, he was on the phone with me, and I knew what he was doing, and it definitely was not walking around.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks.
Oh, yeah. But there was people that already had a preconceived conception of him, who he was. These are the people that their perception is you broke the law, you're in prison, you deserve no better than what you're actually getting. You're not human. That's how these people perceive some of these guys behind bars.
But it also tells you these people that you're around are lying. And it's not the people that are incarcerated.
Correct.
That sucks to be around those kinds of people.
It's so toxic.
Ugh, gross. Don't like it.
What were you doing over in this housing unit? Who were you talking to? Can I get a letter written up on that? How come you were talking on the walk with some? I'm like, I am supposed to talk to people. It's my job.
Yeah.
But then I'm realizing that's when the clinical director said, well, we don't do real therapy here.
Oh.
Excuse me? Then why did you hire me? Because I am a real clinician.
Yeah.
What do you mean we don't do real therapy? Well, we don't have all the time to sit there and crack into any of their traumas because you can't make them vulnerable and send them back into the yard. No, you're right. I can't. But they can tell me when we've reached a point. And I am skilled and trained enough to be able to put somebody to a regulation state before sending them back. Well, you need to see them for less than 16 minutes. What? Billable standard is 16 minutes or more. Anything less is non-billable.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how are you supposed to see all these people? Wow, okay. And that's when I realized that somehow, some way, the new guy, me, got the list of clients that had not been seen and also been expected to fail.
Right.
And now I'm not failing because my guy and I, Adam and I, are communicating on a regular basis. We're talking on the cell phone, and he is taking my advice or my guidance, whatever. He stopped getting violations. He wasn't being written up. He was going to school. He was about to graduate, I think, with his associate's degree. So, like, he was making progress, and he was avoiding people. Well, that causes trouble when the person that avoids people is the person you've pinpointed to be the troublemaker.
Yep.
Hey, it's AJ from More Than an Inmate's Girlfriend podcast. Our new More Than an Inmate's gift catalog is out, and it's free for a limited time to send to your loved one. We know that just because someone is incarcerated doesn't mean they don't want to make their person feel special, but sometimes they don't have a way to do it. That's what this catalog is for. Visit morethanAninmatesGirlfriend.com and enter the code JANDAJ. That's JAEANDAJ to send the catalog today. Because being incarcerated doesn't mean they stop wanting to show effort. Sometimes they just need help doing it.
The question that everyone who's listening is going to be wondering, did you get caught?
No, I don't call it getting caught.
I agree. What happened?
Somehow, some way, investigator was put on the trail of me for whatever reason. I think they were trying to antagonize situations with Adam, and he's been the troublemaker in the past. He's used to being in prison. He knows how to make that work. And he was a go-to guy for a lot of things, and now he's not. He's not participating. He's not leaving his cell unless he has to. He's not fighting, and I'm the reason. Mm-hmm. I'm the troublemaker, and I'm asking questions. So I get called into the investigator's office, and I'm being questioned about how somebody got a hold of my Cash App tag. What are you talking about? And she starts asking me all these very broad questions, like, do you have any nicknames? Now, keep in mind, my dear, dear, wonderful Adam loves me very loudly. So in a moment of frustration, I'm walking away from the housing unit at the clinic, and he knows that he is the reason I'm pissed off at the moment because he did some dumb shit, and he put me in a position, and I found it was disrespectful. He had done or said something that caused attention to be placed on me, and I did not appreciate it.
Okay.
So as I'm leaving and I'm walking away to go out to my vehicle, I hear, butterfly. And I couldn't help it. I turned around and I looked. Well, it just so happened that the freaking hateful nurses that were sitting out there, so they heard him, they saw my reaction, and they skedaddled right on in to talk to the boss.
Oh, rookie mistake.
Yes, I could have killed him.
Yeah.
So I acted angry, whatever. But now I'm called up into this investigator's office. And do you have any nicknames? I don't know. Depends on who I pissed off today. Oh, I can understand that. Ha ha. What's your phone number? What's my file say? You don't have to be belligerent. I'm not being belligerent. I'm asking a question for a question because I don't know why I'm up here. You have said nothing to me about what I'm being talked to by you for. Why am I here? I'm not being belligerent. I'm asking legitimate questions. And by this time, the inside of my body is about to combust. My hands are sweating. I'm trying to play it off, but I know what my face is saying right now. So I have two choices. Be scared and vulnerable or be a bitch. I'm going to be a bitch because I don't do scared and vulnerable well at all.
Yeah.
But I'm petrified.
Yeah.
And so she's asking me all these questions, and she finally tells me, well, somebody got a hold of your Cash App tag. How do you know it's mine? Well, because it has your picture. How do you know that's my picture? It comes back to your name. Okay, it comes back to my name, and it has my picture, but how do you know that it's my Cash App?
Yeah.
Because you can create a picture. You can create any Cash App that you want. It could be a variation of this or that or whatever. And so she shows it to me, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. Because, pretty sure that you guys teach us that there's people on the outside that are family members to the guys on the inside, and be careful what we talk about or how we behave, because they can have the people on the outside look up the people on the inside and tell them what our stuff is. And if you don't know, you can look people up on Cash App. You can? Oh, so you're ignorant to Cash App. Did you just call me stupid? No, I said you were ignorant. Ignorant to Cash App. Well, can I see your Cash App? No. Why? Because it's mine and you have no reason to be looking at my stuff. I said, okay, fine. You know what? I'll play nice with you. And I took her outside because you can't have your phones inside the facility. And I showed her my Cash App. I said, see, it's only linked to my bank account. And here's my bank account. You see nothing. You see money going to Cash App, and you see money from Cash App going to the electric bill. And she said, well, thank you for your time. And I said, sure, not a problem. I'm leaving though because you have caused me some undue stress. And so I clocked out and I left. That's when the 48 hours came into play.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Because I don't know who had my Cash App tag. So I'm like, what did he do?
Yeah.
And I was angry. So I definitely took care of all the things I needed to take care of to make sure that I was not going to be connected to anything. I did all the things I had to do. I'm not getting in trouble. I got a life out here.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know about you, but I like swimming in my own damn swimming pool and showering in my own shower and driving my vehicle and eating pizza on Friday night.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't do well in small spaces, and orange is not my color, so we are not doing this. I'm pissed.
Yeah, yeah.
But then his mom contacted me. He was distraught.
Yeah.
And I was distraught, so he was able to call me, and we talked about it.
And is that when you stopped working there?
No, I went back that following Monday. Yeah, about that time, maybe, that I was on suspension without leave because during the investigation, they had gone to my supervisor and said, we have nothing to charge her with. She's done nothing. And it turned out it was my supervisor that even initiated this whole thing.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah, backstabbing.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah, I'll see you next Tuesday. Yes, absolutely. She started this. She's very close to Adam. And we think he's stalking her. We think that she's going to be a target for him, that he's going to hurt her. And they started questioning me, and they started, like, you can't even speak to him. And now, therapeutically speaking, that's atrocious. You don't do that. He was no longer on my caseload, but we had still been able to interact. So when you have a connection with somebody, when you've built that connection, and he wasn't the only one that was comfortable coming to me with whatever. I had people trying to switch counselors. Like, how do I get to come see you? Because you're making a difference. People are changing, and you can't talk to him. Okay, so do we do an exit session? I'll handle that. Okay, you're going to handle that? Who's going to make sure that he doesn't come in here then? Oh, well, I'll go do that. My supervisor was supposed to go speak to him. She was supposed to let him know that he wasn't allowed to come into the clinic when I was working, that he had to stay away from me, things of that nature. She did not do that.
Whoa.
So here I'm trying to save my job and still be able to talk to him when she does this. So I can't tell him because it happens when I have no access to a phone. I can't just call him up and say, hey, baby, I just want to let you know. Like, you can't do that. So when he did approach me, I was like trying to face myself away from him. I'm not allowed to talk to you. I just got in trouble. They want to stay away from each other. And he's angry. He's rightfully angry. And he leaves and he comes back and he played it off. I was very proud of him. I really didn't think he was going to come back that day. I thought he was going to totally boycott going to therapy. I thought he was going to crash the fuck out. I thought it was going to be hell on earth. And he surprised me because he came back and he saw his new therapist. And I went home that day and he called me on the way home. And I told him I was very proud of him and I appreciated him continuing to try, even if it was only partially to try and partially to make sure that he could still check on me. Because he was starting to take things seriously now at this point, and I was super proud of him for that.
That's good. And then you did get
called up to talk to the warden. They had continued their investigation even after they had no findings, obviously. They had continued this investigation, and I get called up to the warden's office, and the investigator's there, and he's like, we need you to see the warden. He's going to review your case and decide if you get to come back or not, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Great, here we go. So I packed all my stuff from the office, and I just took it with me. And my boss was like, oh, you don't plan on coming back? And I'm like, don't play stupid with me. I know what you did.
Yeah.
So I go out there, and I meet the warden, and the warden says, well, after reviewing your case, we don't think it's safe for you to come back here.
Wow.
So you'll be suspended without pay. Okay, cool. I'll be suspended without pay. How long? Until we're done with our investigation. Okay, fine. And I get ready to walk away, and he says, no, I need your badge. Okay, so you're taking my badges. Awesome. So I give him the badges, and I turn to my radio. I turn to my keys. I give the warden my badges, and I'm not being escorted. He was like, okay, we'll give you a call when we're done with the investigation. Okay, so no problem. And I leave.
And then what?
Now I get to go home and tell my dad and my son and my daughter-in-law that I have been suspended pending an investigation for an inappropriate relationship with an inmate.
Did they know about Adam?
My best friend, yes. My dad, no. I was not going to tell my daddy that.
Right.
No way. Dad doesn't need to know that yet. So I just told my dad the first week I needed to take a break. It was soon after my mom had passed away, and it's been a lot, so I'm just going to take a break. If I made up an excuse, I played it off for another day or two, and I was like, I can't do it. And I told everybody that I quit.
Oh, nice. You're funny.
But I was suspended.
Yeah.
But I told everybody that I quit. I was like, I just can't handle it, and I quit. Maybe 3 months later, I got the phone call, and I'd already actively been looking for other jobs.
Yeah. Called you 3 months later to say that you're not coming back?
Yes.
Were you scared about losing your license?
I was absolutely petrified I was going to lose my license, but then I thought about it.
Logically.
I know people that have actually done the deed with a client and been brought up on charges and not lost their license. And we never did that.
Yeah.
We talked about it a lot, but we never took that step while he was in there. That was a boundary that I was never, ever going to cross, and he absolutely respected that. But yeah, I was petrified, and that's exactly what happened. They went after my license, and I read it the first time, and I was petrified. I was scared to death. I was afraid I was going to lose my license. I was going to lose my house. Oh, my God. And this whole time that this is going on, I'm thinking in the back of my head, Adam said to trust him. He told me to trust him, and I've never had a reason not to believe anything that he said. So I'm going to trust him. I'm going to go out on a limb and basically, we're going to risk it all because we're doing this thing. And I'm going to believe that he says I'm going to be okay and that this too shall pass. And I tried to write a rebuttal. I tried to write a reply, but the more I read it, the more I understood that this document, this entire investigation was nothing but conjecture and speculation and targeting.
Yeah.
There was no hard proof. There's no hard evidence. They called it an avoidable contact with an offender, not an inappropriate relationship. It was avoidable contact.
That's crazy.
And I thought about responding, and something in the back of my mind flipped. And I said, you know what? Because Adam had said this several times, you don't owe anybody an explanation as to why you do what you do or why you are who you are. Mm-hmm. You are you. And that light shines so bright that people are drawn to you. If they don't believe you, that's their problem. Mm-hmm. And I looked at him, I said, oh my God, I think I've heard those words from some therapist before. What? And he said, yep, I got it too. And I did not send in a rebuttal. I got 2 notices from the state that I live in, and I did not send in the rebuttal. I just didn't. And I got a letter that said my license had been renewed for the next 2 years, and I was good to go.
Yeah.
I never replied. I never argued it. I never anything. And now I'm gainfully employed, and I have no issues.
Did you ever consider suing them?
Oh, yes. But then I thought about him because the retaliation he has already experienced simply because I left, not by inmates, but by COs.
Right.
They started targeting him for me not being there anymore. It's your fault we lost that. It's your fault she's not here. And that's not even a reality. Yeah. I don't blame him. We both had a choice, and I wouldn't change it for the world. I have no regrets. This man has changed my life.
Were you scared your relationship would change after you left?
Oh, absolutely. I'm not there. You can't see me every day.
Yeah.
I'm not constant. And he made sure he showed up every day to make sure that nothing was different. All we had was the phone at that time. And then they threw him in the hole.
Oh, wow.
And it was 90 days until I heard his voice again.
That must have been torture.
It was excruciating. I wrote to him every day. I cried. I dwelled on it. I apologized. I blamed myself. I've grown a lot since then because I, too, have grown to understand acceptance and things of that nature. But, yeah, it was horrible. And then I heard from his mom. His mom would get emails every once in a while. I did not have a Securus at that time. And then I got a phone call. And then I set up the Securus. And then I got an email. And I could breathe.
Yeah.
I had people on the inside that were giving me updates, letting me know what was going on, or they would, hey, I stopped by and I saw Adam and he said to tell you blah, blah, blah. And that was always comforting. Mm-hmm. I always knew that he was there, though. There was never a disconnect. That silver thread or whatever they call it, that is, I could close my eyes and I could see his face and I could feel his presence. And I knew that he was okay. It wasn't good, but he was okay.
Yeah.
But it killed me. It killed me. It was withdrawals, fright, fear. It was bad.
And he was also dealing with his own drama, not related to you.
Correct.
Related to a new charge.
Yep. He had charges brought up on him 3 years prior to this for assault on a corrections officer and the attempted sodomy of a corrections officer. And I was like, what is this? And I looked up the case and I read about it, and he was transparent. He told me this never should have gone as far as it did. It should have been handled the moment it happened. That's not what happened. Did I push her? Absolutely, I did. Did I try to do that? Absolutely, I did not. I put that on all my kids' heads. I put that on my mama. Never.
Yeah.
And the only violations he ever had that were remotely even related to anything like that were being walked in on while he was doing his business and being written up for it, which happens a lot.
Yeah.
Right. I was trying to figure out a way, how do I prove that I am sincere? And when he told me he had court coming up, and now keep in mind, I haven't seen him forever and a day. This is something he's been struggling with by himself. He didn't want to burden me with it.
Yeah.
He had talked to me about it, but I didn't know it was as extreme as it was, right? I knew that there was the assault. I knew that she had made accusations, but I did not know that the prosecuting attorney was actually pushing for this charge because it never should have made it to court. Yeah, it was ridiculous. She had been bringing stuff in for those guys at that location, and, well, it was supposed to be here at this time, at this date, and you were supposed to hand it to me. Where's my shit? And so when you're the last one in there and I shove the ass in the bathroom to ask you where's my shit, and you fall down because you're a klutz or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he leaves, and she says, oh my God, that big man. Woo. Yeah.
My husband is like, what? After 30 seconds, he just decides that he doesn't want to do that. And then he just leaves.
Exactly.
He's like, he made a commitment to push someone into a bathroom for a reason. And then he just changed his mind and just turned around. And I was like, oh, yeah.
Exactly.
End of story, I guess. Hey,
Yeah.
he was like, yeah, end of story.
Shoved her in there. She screamed, freaked out, fell on her back or whatever it was. And he ran out the damn bathroom like, hell no, I ain't going down for this. And because she obviously could not admit to what she had been doing as to why he pushed her, because that's what's on camera. You see him come up. She looks right at him. And that's what you hear. Get your ass in there. And he pushes her in. She knew who it was. And he pushed her right in. And 30 seconds later, he comes out.
Yeah.
Bing, bang, boom.
Yeah.
And there's no DNA. There's no anything. He didn't do it. That's not who he is.
Yeah.
He's got daughters of his own. The man worships his mother, right? I showed up to court for him.
Yeah.
And that, I think, was when he realized she's not playing around either.
Yeah.
Because I was there. And his family wasn't even there.
Wow.
And I wrote that out. And I contacted the attorneys, and I did all of the things because his public defenders were absolutely in cahoots with the prosecuting attorney. They were absolutely pushing for him to take this plea of 25 years for this offense that he didn't commit to ruin the rest of his life. If he ever got out, he would never be him again.
Yeah.
They already had him charged and convicted before he ever went to trial.
So now you're in appeals.
Yep. We located an attorney. I worked very diligently on that, I must add. And we are in the appeals process. If things go well, he'll be home in the next 5 years. If things don't go well, I might be eating off the senior citizens menu by the time he gets home.
Wow.
Yeah.
You guys have really been through it this year.
Yes.
Crazy.
That's my life.
Talk about committed,
it's not
right?
a lot, but it's my life.
And I think it really brings into perspective too that there's often like these judgments and stuff about people getting together and staff dating guys that are incarcerated and all these negative things about it. But you guys have really been through it and still stuck with it. You know,
I didn't trade this man for the world. I put too much energy into this man. I put too much time and energy into this one.
Yeah.
You know, and there's always that stigma. Oh, they just want you for your money. No, trust me, he don't. He don't ask me for nothing. The one thing he has told me is, and it's the one thing that I will maintain and continue to tell him, is I will be here when you get home. I will be here when it's over. And I will be with you while we go through it.
Yeah. That must have been comforting, I think. Do you have any regrets about anything that you wish you would have done differently in hindsight?
I think about that sometimes. Like, if I hadn't answered the phone, or if I hadn't entertained it, if I'd have just not answered it, where would I be right now?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you could still be working in there, but would you be any less able to avoid him? No, not in a million years. We probably would have did that by now.
Yeah.
And I'd probably be going to jail myself. So I think about it, and no, I have no regrets, because to change anything that happened up until this point would be to change our relationship, and I wouldn't change a single thing about it.
The only thing that I am sad about is, as much as you're still practicing and doing your thing, it sucks that you're no longer in that setting where I think you would have thrived if given the opportunity. So that's the only thing.
Oh, absolutely. I'd have been in charge. I'd have been the boss.
Yeah. I really think you could have had a really big impact on people, and it's too bad that this happened, but it happened for a reason. Yeah.
Come hell or high water, we are going to be finger to the air, telling the whole world to suck it as we dance in castles. I don't care.
Oh my gosh, me and my husband has a thing about dancing in castles. I love it.
Someday we're going to dance in castles.
Yeah.
Yep.
Can't wait. Well, I appreciate you talking to me tonight. I know that it's a taboo topic, so being able to showcase just your experience level and your story and your own words, I think really shows people the realities so that people judge less, hopefully.
You can't help who you fall in love with.
Yeah.
And the things we've done are just things. And if you don't understand, there's always a situation that led up to this point, this decision, whatever it may be, whether we're on drugs or we're depressed or we're having a manic episode or whatever it is. We've consumed too many drinks. People make mistakes. And somebody once told me the difference between a mistake and a choice is when you choose to commit a crime, you're also choosing to accept the consequences. And that's right. There's not a single man that I encountered in that prison that will tell you any different. I chose to do this. And there was always a reason why.
Yeah.
There was always a purpose. When people hear, oh, it's an inmate, they automatically click to dangerous man, bad people.
Yeah.
You'll never understand or know how many men I encountered in there. The ones that finally opened, they owned their shit. Yeah, I killed this person. Or yes, I did that. Yes, I deserve this time. But there were several that I encountered that took the heat round for their mother of their children so that she could stay home and raise the kids.
Yeah.
And he took the time.
Yeah. I've heard of these stories too.
And that's heartbreaking.
I know.